Testing, 1, 2. Hey, is everybody there? I'm trying to work up with 2 computers. I get one getting hot on me, and it wants to shut down. And I'm trying to see if I can save the film. So if I'm not looking at both computers at the same time, I can't get them set together. I'm out of room here in the office, in my little old bedroom I kind of made here in my house. And I wanted to give you another testimony to go along with some of the others that happened to us out on the highway and on the road in my years out there, in my years of my life. And I wanted to give you a testimony of a story of finding Joseph. It was the most coolest story, and it actually happened in our lives, in my life. And a man who couldn't find his way home, and he was an old man, and we found him by accident, and it was just amazing on how we found him, and nobody was hurt. He couldn't find his way home. He was a VA veteran. He went up there to try to get one of his doctor checkups, and he, was getting his prescriptions changed, do that yearly physical, I think it was. And after he got out of there, they had a whole bunch of construction going on in the highway, and they had all these detours, and he couldn't find his way home. And this poor man, bless his heart, was trying to find his way home. His wife was completely blind, and she couldn't see anything, and he was trying to get home. But we found him by accident, and when this man couldn't find his way home. And it's amazing how the Lord will put you in a place where he needs you. Sometimes we're all wondering, Lord, what do you need me for? You have to be ready at any time and any day to be ready to do what the Lord needs us to do, even for the people and for them, in any disaster and all those things that happens. We have to be ready at any time. But my stepson, he was up in Iowa, and he was needing a car, and he had finally got him another job, and I said, son, you get yourself straightened out, and I'll do what I can to help you get a car. I got an old one that a man owed me some money, and he gave me the car in trade to pay off what he owed, and it's a pretty good car. I mean, it's not a cool Mustang and all of that, but it's a good family car, and it should be dependable. We went all the way through it to make sure everything was going to work, and for what we could see, it was a really good, strong car. And I said, if I get a chance, I'll take a vacation and try to bring it up there to you in Iowa, and drop it off, and you keep your nose clean, and I'll see if I can get this done. Well, I made arrangements to do that, and I ended up calling Paul, a friend of mine who's 10 years younger than me, and he calls me Dad. And I said, hey, Paul, if you got time, I could sure use you to help me drive up there. It's a long ways to Iowa to drop this car off to the boy. And I at least wanted to try to do something for him. And so we did that. We loaded it up on a trailer. We took vacation, and we headed up, and we drove and drove. And he was way, way up in the cornfields of Iowa, and here I'm down here in Arkansas. And we got this car loaded down, strapped down, chained down, tied down, using his pickup, and taking it all the way up there to deliver it. Well, we already went through Kansas City, and all the way was trying to cut through the back way to try to save the miles of going all the way around and coming back down to him. And we was trying to cut through the back way to see if maybe it would help us save some miles, on pulling that car on that trailer. And we were going down the 2-lane roads up there in the cornfields of Iowa, cutting through the back way, and all you could see is just corn and corn and corn, more corn you ever saw. And just down in the hills and the rolling valleys and the hills and rolling valleys. And it was just, but it got so foggy way late in the morning or the night. And it was, 10, 11, or 12, I don't remember the time, but it was getting late. And the fog was so thick that you just couldn't see. You couldn't see nothing in front of you, so we're slowing down, trying to watch what we're doing, and trying to keep, where we're going to turn, looking for the signs. And it was just so hard to see, you couldn't hardly see anything. And right down in the bottom of the hill, as we come up over the top of the hill, down there in the bottom, there was a pickup truck that was completely sideways in the two-lane road. And I'm hollering at Paul, Paul, look out, look out. And he done everything he could to go off into the shoulder on the far side. And we almost flipped the trailer, and the truck, and to bring it back up on the highway. We just barely missed it. And as we were going around that pickup, I said, Paul, pull over, pull over. There's somebody inside the truck. My Lord, we almost hit him. We almost hit him. And he was leaning over the steering wheel. And I'm going, Paul, there's somebody in the truck. There's somebody, stop the truck. So Paul does everything to pull over and get off on the far side, again on our side, and get it off to the, and they're in the road. And I opened and ran out, and I'm running and running and running back to the pickup, and Paul's trying to do everything to back up that trailer with his pickup all the way back to where we were at. And I ran and I ran to get back to that pickup truck, because he's stranded right there in the middle of the road, completely sideways. And, going, man, is this guy all right? He's leaning over the steering wheel like that. And I'm thinking, is he dead? And I run and I run and I knock on the window and sir, are you okay? Well, are you all right? What's going on? And the man rose up, and it startled me, because I didn't know if he was dead, thinking, not knowing what you'd be finding in that early in the morning, right? And it was an old man, and he just startled me. It's like, oh, he's alive. I'm going, sir, are you all right? Are you alive? Are you okay? And the first thing he said, I thank my God, he sent me 2 young servants. I was praying that you fellas wouldn't hit me and run right into me. We could have gotten all hurt. And I was praying to the Lord. I said, sir, what are you doing right here in the middle of the road? He said, well, I was trying to turn around, and I guess I ran out of gas. And this old pickup, it's just so heavy, and I got it loaded down in the back, and I can't push it up out of the way. He said, I was just praying to God that you fellas wouldn't hit me, or nobody'd hit me. And he said, but son, I can't find my way home. I said, what? And he showed me his hospital band. He had a hospital band, from the VA. And I said, you just come from the hospital? He said, yeah, I went up there to get my regular checkup, and they put me on some new prescription. He said, man, this stuff, it just kind of got me all messed up. But when I'd left the VA, it had all these detours, go this way and go that way and this way and that way. And he said, I got turned around, and I just can't find my way home. Oh, my goodness. You can't find your way home? And he says, no, son. He said, I've been driving for almost all night. I can't find my way home. Well, where do you live, sir? Where do you live? He said, well, it's a big city. It's a big city. But for the life of me, I just can't think of the name of it. And I went, what? You can't remember the name of the city you live? You just left the VA hospital. Yeah. He said, son, will you help me find my way home? I don't recognize all this corn. Everywhere I go, I see nothing but corn. And I ran out of gas. I said, I done figured out that this has got to be the wrong way, and I was trying to turn around, and I ran out of gas. Oh, Lord, sir, we got to get this pickup out of the road before we all get hit. Coming down over the top of this hill down here in the, well, sir, we almost ran you plumb over. He said, yeah, I was praying to God that you guys would see me and not run us over and get hurt. I said, sir, we got to get this pickup out of the road. And can you put your hands on the steering wheel? And me and Paul, we're going to try to get a hold of the bumper and get a hold. And we're going to try to do it. We're going to push this thing everything we can to try to maybe back it up. And we're going to turn it. We couldn't get it into the driveway because there was a great big hill going up. So we thought, well, we'll just get it going down the road where it goes down. So we'll just back it up when we can, and you just keep it turning, and sir, we're going to get this pickup off of here on the side of the road. We got to get this thing out of the way before we all get hit, before somebody really gets hurt. Well, we did that, and he just holding on to the steering wheel, and he's got his hand out the wind, and he's saying, I thank my God. I thank my God that he sent me 2 young servants to help me push my whole pickup out of the way. I thank my God. I said, sir, would you put your hands on the wheel? You know, there you go, there you go. And we're just doing everything we can to hold on to that and try to push that truck and get it over there off to the side of the road. We finally got it off on the very edge off there into the grass where we just barely was on the edge of the pavement on the 2-lane road. All of a sudden, over the top of that hill from behind us was 2 18-wheelers, and they come sailing. They must have been doing 80, 85. They was a flying. How anybody could move and fly that fast in a car, an 18-wheeler, when you can't see? I can't. Maybe they got better eyes than me. But we couldn't see, and those 2 come flying up over the 18-wheeler, and I'm up against the man's window talking to him. Sir, are you all right? You know, we got to get us some help out here. And about that time is when they come flying up over the hill, 2 18-wheelers. Now, I mean, they're just bumper to bumper and just a sailing and a rolling. And as they come rolling up over the top of the hill, I had no room to even get out of the road. I laid my hands back against the pickup truck, leaning back like that, and the trailer caught my shirt and tore my shirt practically plumb off of me. That close. Those 2 drivers that was driving that back road back, they had no idea how close they come to dying. They had no idea. They're laying on the horn. Like, what are you doing down there? Well, what are they doing 80 and 95 miles an hour? And, you know, because they're cutting across the back road to get some grain up there and some corn delivered. He liked to hit us all, and it caught my shirt and tore it. And I'm just as white as a ghost. I ain't got time to say a prayer, guys. I'm just going, You all seen the movies where people's getting hit on the side of the road because there was no room and people just didn't know they was there and it's too late. Oh, that old man, he just raised his hand towards heaven. And I'm looking at that old man and my mouth's coming wide open. I'm looking to Paul and he's still on the back of the bumper back there. And all of our mouths come wide open. That was too close. That was too close. Lord, it don't get any closer than that. Lord, if we hadn't got this man's pickup out of the way when we did, Lord, he could have died. Those 18-wheelers would have died. And Lord, we could have all gotten hit. Glory, Lord. Glory for helping us. And that old man, he just waved his hand towards heaven. He said, I thank my God. I thank my God for these 2 young, strong servants to help me get my old pickup out of the way. That was too close. And I said, sir, we got to get some help out here, but we're probably a long ways from the next city. How about you just hop into the pickup with us? You need something to drink? We got some water. We got some Pepsi. Maybe I think a Dr. Pepper, Paul liked. He said, no, I don't want no soda. But I'll take a bottle of water. Yeah, been a while. Since I left the VA, he said, didn't pack me none. I just don't recognize all this corn around my driveways. Whoa. Said, sir, would you mind hopping up into the truck and we'll just try to get on up here to this next city. It may be a few miles because we're out here in the middle of nowhere, sir. Maybe we can get up here to this next city up here and see if we can maybe find us some help. Wow. So we had some extra sandwiches we'd made up, gave him some water, as we're driving. And the whole time we're headed into town, he just got his hand up like that. And he said, I thank my God. I thank my God that for these 2 young servants to come my way. That we didn't get hurt, Lord. But Lord, I can't find my way home. Missy, she's going to be missing me. Lord, she's going to be worried about me. Lord, she's blind. I got to get to a phone. I got to tell her I got lost. I'm crying, guys. Wow. We get all the way up there into town and the fog was so thick we couldn't see anything. We couldn't see nothing. Finally, we at one of the stoplights, I said, hey, Paul, there's a motel right over there on the corner. Pull into that motel. Let's go up and knock on the door and hey, ring the bell. Let's see if we can get the sheriff out here and get this guy looked at. Let's get the sheriff out here. And so Paul hooked it right on in there. I went up and I rung the doorbell and I said, sir, we're not here to rent a room. We're outside in the parking lot. We found he has to be 70 years old, sir. He was lost in the cornfield and he can't find his way home. Will you please do me a favor? Will you call the sheriff and get him out here in front of your motel? We need some help. We almost ran his pickup over. He was stranded in the road and he can't find his way home. Will you please get the sheriff out here? And he said, what? You're kidding me. No, sir. No, sir. Please. And he come out with bottles of water and crackers and stuff, and he just going, oh, my Lord, what? Yes, sir. We almost ran him over. Those 18-wheelers almost ran us over just trying to get his pickup out of the way. And, sir, he can't find his way home. We need some help. Finally, the sheriff and a couple of the county boys, they come showing up there outside the motel, introducing themselves, and I said, sir, would you mind giving the sheriff your wallet? I mean, your information? He said, well, I can't see. I broke my glasses. I must have slept on them in the night, and I can't even read it. But he said, I said, sir, would you mind giving the sheriff your wallet? He's supposed to do that. Because he kept wanting to give it to me. And I said, but sir, he's the sheriff. He's supposed to do stuff like that. And we'll help you find your way home. And he says, no. The Lord told me, Mike, that I was to give you my wallet. You was to go through it. And you would help me find my way home. Now, I didn't count on the sheriff being involved in this, but oh well. He said, but son, I've done learnt a long time ago, when the Lord gives you something that tells you to do, you best obey it. You youngins, you're going to figure it out. You people out there, you're going to figure out when the Lord tells you to do something, you best do it. He said, now if I hand that fella my wallet, I'm disobeying God, and I ain't going to do it. And I looked at the sheriff, and I'm going, he said, Mike, the Lord told me to give you my wallet, and you was to go through it, but I guess if you want to hand it to the sheriff. Okay, but at least that way I'm not disobeying the Lord. And even the sheriff's mouth came wide open. He hands me his wallet, and I'm going through it, and I'm finding the driver's license. And it says, I said, sir, this says Kansas City, Missouri. Is this where you're from? He said, that's it. It's a big city, Mike. Man, it's a big city. But they had all that construction going on, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And I got all turned around. Kansas City. He said, that's it. And I'm looking at the sheriff. And I said, sir, this says your name's Joseph. He said, that's me. That's me. I'm a veteran, I was over there. I've done some war. All the stories I could tell you, son. Oh, what us men had to go through to stay alive. Yes, sir. I'd sure love to hear those stories, sir. But sir, the sheriff is here with the paramedics. They need to take a look at you, sir, and make sure everything's okay. And let me hand your wallet unto him. You know, that way you can see that all your money's in there. Nobody's going to touch it. And I'm going to give it to the wallet, to him. And the sheriff's nodding his head. I looked at that sheriff and I said, oh my Lord, you'd have never expected this, Sheriff. We almost ran him over out there. Didn't know he was in, you know, we come up upon him and there was two 18-wheelers and almost hit us, Sheriff. Look at my shirt. They were so close and we just barely got his pickup out of the way. I'd like to chase those 18-wheelers down myself, even though I drive an 18-wheeler, and I would throw them in jail. That's a good thing I'm not the sheriff. Good thing I wasn't behind him. Good thing I didn't get a tag. I'd have been knocking on the door. You almost hit us. But they had no idea. And I said, Sheriff, will you take care of Joseph? He said, I'll do everything, Mike. Believe me, we're going to take care of this one. We could have been picking you boys up with a scoop shovel out there with dump trucks and having body bags. And here you found this old man. He says, my God, my God, my God, right here in our own county. He said he's going to be in the best of care. Joseph said, well, why didn't you just help me find my way home? I said, sir, the sheriff's going to do that. Joseph, we're up in the cornfields of Iowa. We're over 150 miles away from Kansas City, Joseph. We came through there about 3 hours ago. And he went, what? I'm in Iowa. Really? Uh-huh. Oh, Missy ain't going to like this. Oh, she going to be worried. She's blind, you know. We've been married over 50 years. The most precious woman you ever met. And she's mine. My Missy. That girl's mine. She's been by me through thick and thin. She may be blind, but she's been my soulmate since we were youngins. And she's mine. I got to get back to my Missy. She's going to be worried about me. I said, Sir Joseph, these men will take care of you. And sir, I want to know, did you find this man's family? Did you find his family? We're going to take this car up into Iowa. And we're going to drop it off first thing in the morning. And when we get a chance, I'm coming right back through here, Sheriff, and I'm going to find you. I want to know what happened to Joseph. I want to know, did you find his family? And sir, if nothing else, maybe we can put his pickup on that old trailer and I'll take him back to Kansas City. I'll take him to his front door, sir. I promise. So he said, I'll take care of him. So we took off and we went all the way up into Iowa. We done that. We delivered it the next morning, drove all night, you know, and delivered the car, said our highs and our goodbyes, drove all the way back down there that afternoon and went right back into the sheriff's office and to look for everybody because I wanted to know, was Joseph okay? You know, I mean, did they find his family? Anything. And I went into the sheriff's office right there across from the courthouse. You know, it was the jail cells that they had right there with the facility there. And I went into the front door and I got the big glass and the girls, you know, on the phone and stuff. And I'm knocking on the window. I said, hey, is the sheriff in? I want to see him. We're the men who found Joseph last night. We nearly got ran over. And I want to know, did the sheriff find his family? Did they find his family? Did they get anybody on the, you know? And here she said, you was the ones? Well, yes, ma'am, we did. And you know, can I talk to the sheriff? The sheriff, she said, just a minute. Everybody in the county, in the office wants to come out and give you boys a hug. Really? Well, it's all right. I just want to know if Joseph's okay. You know, and did you get him looked at? You know, did you find his family? And here come the sheriff down the hallway. He's got the biggest smile. He's just got the biggest smile, and he said, "Boys, I just don't know how to thank you fellas. We could have been picking all of you up with a scoop shovel. And I thank my God." You don't hear that in a sheriff's office, guys. Where do you hear that in the sheriff's office? A sheriff saying, "I thank my God." And I'm just smiling. I said, "Sir, how's Joseph?" He said, "Oh, he's just fine, Mike. He's over there at the hospital. And he's up there just telling gospel jokes like you wouldn't believe. He's got those people just a-rolling in the floor. He's just the most happiest man. I'm telling you what, the most pleasantest man." He said, "You know, but Mike, I was on the phone and I was trying to call every number I could find and anything I could get in his wallet, and we couldn't get nobody to answer the phone. So I was leaving messages all over town, and you know, and nobody was calling me back." He said, finally in the back of his driver, in the back of his wallet, there was a little card that said he was a deacon of a church of the Assemblies of God in Kansas City, Missouri. I said, "What?" "Yeah, he'd been a deacon for over 30 years or more." He said, "So I thought, well, if nothing else, maybe we can get a hold of his pastor, you know, and they know the church." So I called the church, and I got the church on the phone, and I said, "Hey, pastor, you know, we found Joseph." He said, "Mike, that's got to be one of the biggest churches you ever saw in your whole life." I evidently said I had to hold the phone down like that because the pastor said, "Just a minute," because they were all down at the church because they had all been going out looking for Joseph. Everybody going out in cars in every direction. They couldn't find him. Well, no wonder. He's all the way up there. He said, "Mike, that's got to be one great big church." And the pastor said, "Hold on, I'm going to make an announcement because we got all kinds of people down here at the altar. We've all been praying that Joseph would be found, that he'll be found, and no harm would come unto him, and that Joseph would be returned." And he said, "Well, I've got his wife right down here at the altar, and sir, she's blind." And he says, "We're all here at the altar praying. And my God," he said, "I'm going to make the announcement right here. Just hold on." And he holds out the phone. And he makes an announcement on the PA system. "Joseph has been found." He said, "Mike," he said, "I had to hold the phone out there like that." He said, "My word, that's got to be a big, big church." He said, "No wonder I couldn't find everybody down there. That's all at the church praying that Joseph will be found." He said, "But oh, you talk about shouting for glory. You talk about hallelujahs." He said, "Son, I'm telling you what, they are excited." I said, well, what are we going to do?" I said, "Sir, if you need us to, we'll put his truck on the, I'll take him all the way home." We were going right back through Kansas City. He said, No, I got a hold of his son. His son got on the phone with me finally, and he's on his way to come up and pick up his daddy." Glory. Hallelujah. He said, "Son, that church wants you to come by. They want to fix you something to eat. This man's wife wants to put her arms around you, Mac." And thank you, boys. He said, "Son, the whole county's going to find out about this one. We're going to put this one in the paper. You just don't hear news like this every day." He said, "You see that church right over there across the street? I'm the pastor of that church. But I'm also the sheriff of this here county. This is going to go across the county, right here in our own community." He said, "I thank my God for you boys, that you were there at the right time, at the right place, at the right time. I thank my God that Joseph has not been called." Oh, you shit. Jelly cat. To do a film. So now we get a stop. Sorry about that. There was a cat in behind. I didn't know. But Joseph had been found. Oh, I got to stop the film. I think I'm mean to the cat.